Mount Washington Cog Railway. The world's first mountain climbing cog railway climbs Mount Washington in New Hampshire, United States. It is the second steepest rack railway in the world after the Pilatus Railway in Switzerland, with an average grade of over 25% and a maximum grade of 37%. Located in the heart of the majestic White Mountains region of northern New Hampshire, Marshfield Base Station is 6 miles east of Route 302 on the western face of Mount Washington. Even the drive along Base Station Road is beautiful. The railway was built by Sylvester Marsh, who grew up in Campton. Marsh came up with the idea while climbing the mountain in 1852. His plan was treated as insane. Notwithstanding all opposition, he persisted in building the railroad, relying chiefly on his own resources, and received little capital investment until an engine was actually running over part of the route. The peculiar form of locomotive, cog rail, and brakes used were invented by Marsh. The round trip to the summit and back is just under 3 hours. The biodiesel-powered trains make the climb up to 6,288 feet in approximately 45 minutes. Passengers will leave the train and lay over at the summit for approximately 1 hour before returning to the base station. We are now boarding the train for Mount Washington summit. Several trains are dispatched at the same time, and the trains are lined up in the order of departure each hour. When multiple trains are dispatched, the steam train is always last in line behind the diesels. The train ascends the mountain at 2.8 miles per hour and descends at 4.6 miles per hour. The video playback speed is 4 times the actual speed of the train. The trains run safely in all weather conditions year-round, but high winds, ice, and snow occur above tree line throughout the year. Very occasionally, severe weather, generally sustained wind speeds at the summit exceeding 60 to 70 miles per hour will force the temporary closure of the state park summit facilities. Passengers should remember to bring warm, waterproof clothing and sturdy footwear. Weather at the summit is always different than at lower elevations. This is the crossing. We have to wait for the downhill trains to pass. Initially, there was no way for 2 trains to pass one another on the Mount Washington Cog Railway. In 1941, a 9-motion switch was invented, and 2 spur sidings were added, each long enough to divert 2 descending trains so that climbing trains could continue to the summit, enabling more round trips per day. Mount Washington is the highest peak in the northeastern United States at 6,288.2 feet, and the most topographically prominent mountain east of the Mississippi River. The mountain is notorious for its erratic weather. On the afternoon of April 12, 1934, the Mount Washington Observatory recorded a wind speed of 231 miles per hour at the summit, the world record from 1934 until 1996. Mount Washington still holds the record for highest measured wind speed not associated with a tornado or tropical cyclone. The Mount Washington Cog Railway ascends the western slope of the mountain, and the Mount Washington Auto Road climbs to the summit from the east. The mountain is visited by hikers, and the Appalachian Trail crosses the summit. Other common activities include glider flying, backcountry skiing, and annual cycle and running races such as the Auto Road Bicycle Hill Climb and Road Race. The Cog Railway track crosses over 3 hiking trails, including the Gulfside Trail, which is part of the Appalachian Trail. Some hikers have been known to wait for the next train in order to expose their bottoms to the passengers, a practice known as mooning the cog. Several hikers were arrested for performing this act in 2007. It is a 20 to 30-year-old tradition. There are several theories as to the reasons for this tradition. One holds that it is an act of protest against the smoke, steam, and noise pollution generated by the railroad, which is known as the Smog Railway to some hikers. According to others, it is a reference to the train's original name, the Railway to the Moon.
Tip-top house up here as well, you can check out. So we are approaching our water.
We have arrived at the summit. The weather is clear today, which is rare. Summer and fall generally bring the clearest skies of the year. We visited Mount Washington State Park in October 2022. For much of the rest of the year, weather tends to be foul at the summit of Mount Washington. The combination of cold, windy, cloudy, and wet conditions make Mount Washington's weather exceptionally extreme for a peak that is so accessible. Sub-zero temperatures, hurricane-force winds, and whiteouts are common at the summit because the mountain sits in the path of 2 major storm tracks, one that brings storms from the west and a second that brings them up the Atlantic coast. This is Mount Washington Auto Road, a toll road for private vehicles and guided tours. The entrance of the road is located on New Hampshire Route 16, north of Pinkham Notch. This is Mount Washington Observatory, a private, nonprofit scientific and educational institution organized under the laws of the state of New Hampshire. Now we will be boarding the train to return back to the base station. Hope you are enjoying the video. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel Westbound.